fortune.
Negative.
Where is he?
Hi, boys.
Diet Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Now, when you taste the Diet Pepsi sensation, you could win a Club Med vacation. See your store display for details.
There's a special bond between children and their teacher. For nearly 9 months each year, it's a relationship of testing, learning, and growing. But just as important is the communication between parent and teacher. I'm Colleen Needles. Find out how to make the most of your next parent-teacher conference Tuesday on the 10 p.m. report.
It's time to replace your car's muffler. Wednesday, find out where you'll get the best installation. 2 special cover stories beginning Tuesday on the 10 p.m. report.
She's a wild punk rocker by night, a housewife and mother by day. Imagine sitting in a nightclub watching your own mother saunter on stage in a red spandex bodysuit and a black leather jacket. We'll meet a 40-year-old California mother turned punker and her kids who say, "Mom, we're mortified." What's it like? Find out next time.
Donahue, Tuesday morning at 8 on Channel 4.
You are watching WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. All today's news with Mike Walcher, Debbie Ely. Dr. Walt Lyons has weather. Tom Hanneman has sports. And now, this is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. The Twins may have lost a game today, but they retain the respect of their fans and their opponent.
And prove that they're no pushovers just because they're on the road. A couple of hundred Twins fans ventured into enemy territory today for the first of 3 games in Detroit. They made their presence heard in Tiger Stadium, and as Daryl Savage reports, were harassed for their enthusiasm.
Tiger Stadium is dark and empty now. 7 hours ago, the hopes of the Twins and their fans were bright. Then the whistling and cheering stopped with a heartbreaking home run. It was a loss that was hard to swallow, but the Minnesota fans here can still taste a series victory.
We'll be back. We'll be back. No problem.
They played really well. We're proud of them. They'll be back tomorrow. They'll do well.
During the game, fans throughout the Midwest celebrated the Twins' storybook season. Brad Shield drove all the way down from Chicago to watch the game.
It's been a long time since they made the playoffs, and I wanted to see them do a good job and root them on.
As the Twins' wives looked at all the empty seats in Tiger Stadium, they compared Detroit fans to Minnesota's.
And I don't think anybody's as supportive as our fans.
Most of the wives came armed with Homer hankies and whistles. Everyone in the stadium could hear them. Most of the Tiger fans booed them.
You have to expect that when you're out of town. This is Detroit Stadium, and you're going to hear that.
But when the game ended, something happened that the women didn't expect. Angry Detroit fans whistled back and harassed them. Security was called in to escort the wives out. From now on, the rivalry isn't just between the players. Now the fans are getting seriously involved. With photographer Bill Kruzkop, Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, Detroit.
Twins fans who stayed home in Minnesota remained defiant despite the loss. At Champs Bar in Richfield, fans cheered when the Twins took the lead and kept cheering even when they lost.
The Twins played a very good game, and it goes to show the people in Detroit that the Twins are in the same caliber and that they can play with them.
It's all right, you know, we made them sweat and give Detroit something to cheer about.
I think our chances are still good. We come back from a 5-0 deficit. Watch out, Detroit!
Today's loss has added some interest and lots of tension to the playoffs. Tony Parker joins us now from our sports desk with word on the game and how the team reacted. Tony?
Let me say this, gang. We have to agree. Today's loss was about as exciting a game as those 2 Twins wins. The Tigers came out on top 7-6 in a contest that had everything you could expect from a championship game. Timely clutch hitting by both teams, stubborn relief pitching after the starters failed, and the great comeback by the Twins that threatened to pull it out down to the final pitch. Now, the Twins fell behind 5-0 after 3 innings, but went ahead 6-5 on Gary Gaetti's bases loaded single in the 7th. Shot setter and Berenguer blanked the Tigers in little relief. But Jeff Reardon made a mistake here, pitching to Sheridan in the bottom of the 8th. The lanky outfielder who hit just 6 homers all year picked out great time to get number 7 with a man on, and that was it. Young Mike Henneman, who was roughed up by the Twins in Game 1, slammed the door in the ninth, getting Gaetti on a swinging third strike. Manager Sparky Anderson was a happy winner. Tom Kelly, a pragmatic loser.
We were down 5-0. The guys came back. That's got to say enough about our ball club. Playing on the road or at home, don't matter.
And we'll hear from more folks from that game later on in the program.
All right, very good. Thank you, Tony. And tomorrow's game will be at 7:30. Debbie?
Fire forced 11 St. Paul residents from their home tonight. The blaze began on the bottom floor of a duplex and spread quickly throughout the dwelling. 2 families inside escaped unharmed, but the building was extensively damaged. The Red Cross is aiding the residents with food and shelter. Fire officials are still investigating the cause of that fire. And a fire in Brooklyn Park ended in tragedy today. 38-year-old Sharon Henning Sangren and 36-year-old Scott Judge were found dead after a house fire. Police say the 2 were murdered in a case of arson. A Brooklyn Park man is in jail, but authorities say the motive is still unclear. Terry Sater reports.
The deadly blaze ignited Sharon Sangren's Brooklyn Park home about 3:30 this morning. Sangren was found dead in her bedroom, the same bedroom her husband told friends he escaped from. A neighbor said he offered Sangren's husband help to get his wife out of the burning house, but the fire spread quickly.
It was really going. It was, flames were out over the top of the roof, really coming out of the picture window area.
A man living with the Sangrens escaped through a basement window. An acquaintance of the couple, Scott Judge, was found dead in the kitchen. And today, the victim's brother said the situation seemed suspicious.
Suspicious as hell, man. I'm wondering what the hell, what's going on? No.
One of Sangren's sisters says Sharon complained of violent arguments with her husband.
She told me that, you know, he was giving her black eyes and the marks and stuff, and I've seen a few marks on her, and I told her, I said, well, why don't you just get away from him, you know, before he kills you or whatever, and she really didn't answer me.
Police say the fire spread abnormally fast. They found gas cans on the scene, and after interviewing friends and family of the victims, they decided to arrest the suspect.
The intense heat of that particular fire has led to speculation that some type of a chemical may have been used to ignite that particular situation.
Police gathered evidence in Sangren's home this afternoon. The samples will be tested for arson at the state crime lab this week. In the meantime, people close to Sharon Sangren are mourning her loss. Friends say Sharon Sangren liked to help people out and often had friends stay over who had nowhere else to go.
She loved children. She always was the one that always helped, you know, as far as if you needed something, if she had it, she would give it to you. She'd give her last to you. She was a real sweetheart, you know. She had a real good heart on her.
Terry Sater, WCCO Television News, Brooklyn Park.
2 weeks ago, a house fire in Milwaukee claimed the lives of 10 people. Today, funeral services were held in Miami, where most of the victims had lived. 9 of them were children. More than 100 friends and relatives attended the emotional service. The community held a collection to pay burial expenses. A Midway Airlines jet bound for Minneapolis blew out a window and part of a wall yesterday at Midway Airport in Chicago. The jet turned too close to the terminal. The damage from the exhaust bowled over 2 passengers and frightened many others. The incident is being investigated. Thousands of homosexual couples cheered and threw rice at a mass wedding ceremony in Washington. It was one event during 6 days of lobbying and protest by gay groups as they demonstrated against religious and social barriers to their relationships.
Minnesota has a new radio program tonight.
It's called Good Evening, and its mission to fill the void left by Prairie Home Companion.
He's out of here.
Of the many highly advanced forms of weight control, how many include a rich honey glaze?
Honey glaze?
And real sour cream.
Sour cream?
And only cost around $1.89.
What?
Introducing new Slim Selects entrees from the Budget Gourmet, like succulent beef stroganoff, ham and asparagus, and honey glazed turkey. New Slim Selects entrees from the Budget Gourmet at around $1.89 and under 300 calories, one of our lighter creations. are a nation of business. And to bring us together, there is the airline of business. Throughout the U.S. and 13 foreign lands, the airline trusted by business travelers for a half-century and more. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Montgomery Ward unleashes a powerhouse. Electric Avenue, rapidly becoming the most competitive appliance electronics stores in America. Choose from Sony, RCA, Tappan, Amana, Pioneer, Magnavox, GE, and Maytag. Top-line brands at bottom-line prices. Electric Avenue appliances and electronics. We won't be undersold on our advertised national brands. Great prices, great name brands, plus service in 24 hours. Turn up your buying power on Electric Avenue at Montgomery Ward. It's a powerhouse.
Championship baseball moves quickly. We're already at the bottom of the first with 2 outs. Let's announce this next batter together.
The cast of Minnesota Public Radio's new program, Good Evening, talked baseball on their first show tonight. The 90-minute variety show hosted by Noah Adams debuted at the World Theater. Good Evening replaces A Prairie Home Companion. The 13-year-old show ended with the departure of Garrison Keillor. NPR's new Saturday night program features music, some poetry, and lots of stories.
And incidentally, the program goes national starting January 9th. And judging by the response of folks leaving the World Theater tonight, it should be a big hit.
Everything. I enjoyed the music. It was super. The storytelling was great. I thought Noel was wonderful.
I like the show very much. I think this is going to be a good beginning for hopefully a long-running show that captures the heart of America like Prairie Home did.
The ratings and the music, it really was nice, phenomenal. The half, just great. They should have been 3 hours.
We're going to tell you about some political names in the news now. We'll start with the most entertaining and work our way up to the most important.
He's changed his staff, he's changed his hair color, and now he's changed his name. You may know him as Rudy Perpich, but in the future he'd like to be thought of as Rudolph G. Perpich. The governor's new communications director says the new name will improve the governor's image because it is more businesslike. The business of cashing in on William Casey is going well for journalist Bob Woodward. Movie rights to his controversial book, Veil, The Secret Wars of the CIA, were bought up by a Hollywood movie company for an undisclosed price. That book features a deathbed interview with CIA Director Casey about the Iran-Contra scandal. It was published 2 weeks ago, currently has 800,000 copies in print.
President Reagan is still stinging from what almost certainly will happen soon, the defeat of Supreme Court nominee Robert Bork. But the president, in his radio address today, makes clear that he would have allowed Bork to withdraw his name. Mr. Reagan says he admires Bork for his staying in the fight.
I agree with Judge Bork that there are no illusions. Our judges should be faithful to the written Constitution, the bedrock of our liberties. Those selected for the Supreme Court must be aware of all points of view and their decisions based on government by the people.
And in the Democratic response, Senator George Mitchell of Maine said that Bork has no appreciation for the right to privacy. Already, the White House is considering a dozen judges and Illinois Governor James Thompson as a nominee to replace Bork should he lose in the Senate. Kansas Senator Robert Dole passed through the Twin Cities on a campaign swing today. The Republican presidential hopeful spoke at a town meeting in Hopkins about his commitment to agriculture and the role Minnesota will play in the upcoming presidential campaign.
Well, it's number 4 or 5, and it's very important to get that early momentum, and that's why we're going to be spending a lot of time in this state.
The field of candidates for the Oval Office is becoming more crowded.
Indeed it is. Jesse Jackson has made it official. He is running for president again. The Democratic hopeful announced before a crowd of 3,000 people in Raleigh, North Carolina this afternoon. He laid out the main points of his upcoming campaign for the White House.
A Jackson presidency will be characterized by strong leadership, a strong military, coherent policies, a strong economy, and strong values.
Vice President George Bush is expected to join the Republican race for president officially on Monday.
Let's make it perfectly clear. Dr. Walt has no plans to run for presidency, but you plan to give us a forecast in a few minutes.
And I'm not going to run in the marathon tomorrow because it's going to be too cold, at least for me. It's going to be in the 20s when people start running. They'll heat up, and maybe a little of that warmth will spread over to the air, I hope.
Imagine if they made omelets in heaven. In heaven, you could have a pizza omelet, a seafood omelet, or a spinach and mushroom omelet. And you'd get your choice of a fresh-baked muffin or pancakes. You don't have to go to heaven to get a meal this good. Just go to Perkins. Tummy heaven.
Hi, I'm Roger Erickson. From start to finish, listen for exciting coverage of the Twin Cities Marathon, starting at 6 a.m. Sunday morning on WCCO Radio.
On Star Search 88, the winning streak continues. This week, the dancers go for the big title and the little title. Female vocalist Linda Eder goes for win number 5. Teen vocalist Raquel Herring goes for win number 5. And the comedians go for the last.
He looks at me and goes, Struby Peter.
It's going to be tough to catch the competition, so you catch Star Search 88 this week. A great way to win.
Saturday night at 11:05 on Channel 4.
It will be a warmer, safer winter for 250 local families. Today, Minneapolis and St. Paul pipe fitters and mechanical contractors donated their time and equipment to repair furnaces for some elderly and handicapped families. Many of the families can't afford such services as getting their furnace inspected. The pipe fitters say in the past they found homes with dangerously high carbon monoxide levels. I think this serves as a good reminder to all of us to check our furnaces, put a new filter in.
And I would advise you to do it in about the next 2 hours. Tonight's going to be the coldest night we have had since last April 3rd, which was a cold night. You probably don't remember, but it was 18 degrees. We are going to flirt with a record low by morning. Why? Well, it's the Canadian high-pressure system. I mean, we get this all the time during the winter, and here's a winter high. And yes, friends, that is snowflakes that were on the map today down to the south of the Twin Cities, not the north. And we got up all the way to 40 degrees. 61 is the normal high this year, 90 the record, 31 the current temperature is now the low and slipping quickly. The Saturday record low is 25. Sunday's record low is 27 or 22, depending on whether you use the modern or Pioneer records. It did not precipitate. That means it did not flake in the official airport location today, but there were a few flurries around town. And, you know, we normally do have 4/10 of an inch of snow in October. So far, none this year. Last year, we had a trace, 85 a trace, 3/10 back in 84, and we had a blizzard, so to speak, back in 1982 of 1.4. We didn't get it, but the areas to our south did. Omaha had almost an inch, the third earliest snow they've ever had down there, up to 2 inches in western South Dakota and portions of Wyoming. And it snowed even into northern Kansas and some sleet in Kansas City. You can see that cloud mass associated with that moving off to the east, and these are the cloud-free skies which have pushed their way in as the sun set this evening. In the latest heat picture from space, the infrared picture, these little spots you see here, including this one, are either the warm lakes or the warmth of the Twin Cities. It's cooling down. The ground out there is cooling down very, very fast. Temperatures tonight, or by morning, will be in the teens over northern Minnesota, the 20s, even low 20s over the southern part. If there's any lingering tomatoes out there, sayonara, they're gone. As far as last night's lows, well, this is the pattern. It was as cool as 8 degrees at West Yellowstone. It was 15 at Bismarck, a record low, 18 at Sioux City, or Sioux Falls, rather, a record low for them. Tomorrow, we're not going to get much of a warm-up. In fact, we're going to have a slight reinforcing cool front sweep through, and temperatures, while they'll get up into the upper 40s, are still way below normal. And precipitation, well, it'll be in the corners of the country. We don't expect any through this region, including in Detroit, where they'll have clearing skies. And at game time, the temperature tomorrow will be in the low 40s. Whew, that's going to be chilly. And highs tomorrow in our area are going to be in the upper 40s throughout this entire region, while their 50s and 60s are trying to percolate. It's going to take till at least Monday, if not Tuesday, for them to move back into our region. And right now, it is brisk out there. Cold. In fact, clear 31 with a dew point of 21, 66% of saturation. The winds are pretty light now, southwest at 5. The barometer strong and steady at 30.50. Tonight, clearing and Oh, call it colder. The heck with it. I mean, 20 to 23 to 25 degrees, depending on exactly where you are in the urban heat island. Very light winds. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny, not so cool, but breezy-ish. 47 southwest winds up to 20 in the afternoon. Make it feel pretty nippy. Then tomorrow night, partly cloudy, upper 20s again. And then Monday, partly sunny, a bit of a rebound up to 52 degrees, and we hope to see a little bit more warming after that, up to 63. But showers mean another front coming through Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures right back down there. So we're having beautiful November weather.
In October.
Yes.
All righty. A prelude to tomorrow's Twin Cities Marathon with a family fun run. 1,000 runners jogged either the mile or 5-kilometer route around Lake Phalen this morning. Both children and their parents participated in the event. Tomorrow, the Twin Cities play host to the 6th annual marathon around Minneapolis Lakes and finishing up at the state capitol. You'll want to pay close attention to this marathon map because some of the streets will be closed. Of course, you can see the entire race from the starter's gun to the finish line here on WCCO television starting at 7:30 tomorrow morning. And after the 10 p.m. report tomorrow night, we'll wrap up the race with more coverage.
Right, lots of sports going on, but I guess you got to start with the Twins.
Twins had the tiger by the tail today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got bit, or at least nipped, by 1 run. That's what I'll tell you about it in just a minute.
Sheridan drives one to deep right. Way back. It's on its way. And the Tigers have the lead.
When you're young, you only think about your goals, your dreams. But once you have a family, your future doesn't seem nearly as important as theirs. Their dreams become your dreams. You make sacrifices, not minding a bit. And you buy life insurance to make sure their dreams can come true. That's why American Family Insurance says, you don't buy life insurance for you, you buy it for them. Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
I never thought it would happen to me. I mean, I started out listening to Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Then I went to a Willie Nelson concert. And then I bought a Hank Williams Jr. tape. Me, the old rock and roller. I like country music. I like it a lot.
Discover the new country music on K102 FM.
Well, I think it's a bit much to think the Twins would sweep all 4 games from the Tigers, but they've got to win 1 in Detroit, right?
Great game today, right?
You
win,
bet.
Yeah.
Win or lose.
What's that?
Better to win, but boy, what a tremendous game. The Twins went on a roller coaster ride this afternoon in Tiger Stadium. Down 5-zip, they made a big uphill climb to take the lead, but came crashing back down. The ride ended with a 7-6 Detroit win in Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Twins still lead that series 2-1. Les Straker got the nod, and it was the nod that scored a run. Straker moved his head. Watch this. A balk was called. A Tiger run scored. Sparky Anderson, glad to see that. And it spoiled Straker's 28th birthday. Then Schatzeder came on in relief in the 3rd. Larry Herndon greeted him with a 2-run double. That made the score 5-zip. However, Schatzeder pitched very well for 3 innings and was a bright spot. But being down 5-zip on the road to the Tigers is tough. Greg Gagne has always been optimistic, and he kind of shows it here with a home run over Tigers starter Walt Terrell. In the 4th inning, Gagne's first hit of the series. Randy Bush added an RBI for a 5-2 count. The Twins continued to chisel away at the deficit in the 6th inning with a Tom Brunansky home run. Bruno's 2-run shot gave him 6 ribbies in the playoffs and narrowed the Tigers' lead to 1. Next inning, the Twins didn't stop. Reliever Mike Henneman served up a single here to Gary Gaetti. The bases were loaded with 2 outs, and the G-Man's clutch hit put the Twins up 6-5. Now that hushed the 49,000 fans at Tiger Stadium. A great comeback by the Twins, but with Jack Morris on first base as a pinch runner, Pat Sheridan provided some Tiger power here in the comeback. He took a Jeff Reardon pitch into the bleachers in the 8th inning. Sheridan had only 6 homers during the regular season. He had a high fastball, and Reardon said, hey, that's how I make my living. That's also how Sheridan made a killing today. Detroit threatened to add to the lead, but Gary Gaetti made a tremendous catch in the seats to end the 8th. The Twins had one more shot. It came here, Henneman versus Gaetti. This time, Henneman was the victor. There's that catch by Gaetti. And then again, it comes right down to a final shootout. And here's Henneman getting Gaetti on that swinging a 3rd strike.
Well, it's not a bad feeling, especially when you haven't contributed too much in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So It was a good feeling. It's probably is the biggest home run I've hit because we won the ball game.
These guys just keep going out there playing. It's fun. It's tough. It's tough on the heart, gray hairs and everything else, but it's been real satisfying.
Real happy the way the guys battled back after facing a tough pitcher, Walt Lyons, and coming back and getting the lead. And Jeff just didn't get him today. He's not Superman. He's going to have his good days and bad days, and his good days certainly outnumber the bad.
Well, I don't think people realized that it was going to be this good of a series. I think both teams realized it was going to be a scrapping game. I mean, and ain't nobody going to give up here. Those guys battled all year long. We battled all year long. People putting us down. We kept coming back when we had to. And I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be a runaway type of thing.
I'd prefer the cold weather. The hitters, maybe not so much today, but if you get in on them or get away and they hit the ball not just right, it can bother them. But I'm not really that high on the indoor pitching.
Frank Viola said he's used to pitching in cold weather, recalling his college days at St. John's University in New York. He'll get the call tomorrow night for the Twins, facing veteran left-hander Frank Tanana. This is Mark Rosen, WCCO Television Sports, Tiger Stadium, Detroit.
Okay, it's tied at 2 games apiece now in the National League. The San Francisco Giants leveled that series tonight with a 4-2 win over St. Louis. The Cardinals jumped to a 2-0 lead in the second. Giants pitcher Mike Krukow committed a cardinal sin here. St. Louis pitcher Danny Cox rips an RBI single with the count 0-2. The Cardinals lost their lead for good in the 5th inning. Jeffrey Leonard has emerged as the hero of this series. He set a record with his 4th home run of the series, 1 in each game. That one just gets out with a little bit of help from the wind at Candlestick Park. It's 3-2 Giants. Mike Krukow threw a beauty. He finished it with a double play. The Cardinals have ended in 9 twin killings in this series, and that, too, is a playoff record. It's turning into quite a series, and they'll get together again tomorrow afternoon for Game 5. Well, the Gopher football team remained unbeaten at 5-0. The Gophers won a shootout over Northwestern this afternoon, 45-33. The Wildcats' Byron Sanders ran wild. Sanders' touchdown here, part of 295 yards for him today. His touchdown put Northwestern within a touchdown at 24-19 in the 4th quarter. Over 1,100 yards of offense between the two teams today. 80 of those yards came in the form of a Ricky Foggy to Jason Bruce touchdown pass. Bruce caught a pair of scoring strikes today. He's from Burnsville and really becoming quite a blocker and receiver. 31-19 Gophers and counting. Northwestern scored to make it 31-26, but the Wildcats made the mistake of giving Darrell Thompson a little room to run, and he goes for 61 yards to pay dirt. Thompson turned in another solid performance, rushing for 144 yards. Now, it wasn't over yet. Ricky Foggy finished the big play 4th quarter. Foggy rolled to his left, picked up a couple of good blocks, and sprinted 71 yards for the final score. The Gophers win, mixed with a couple of big upsets, leave them in a 3-way tie for first place in the Big Ten. Here are the other scores in the Big Ten, some surprises. Indiana beating Ohio State 31-10. Michigan State upsetting Michigan. Iowa beat Wisconsin, and Purdue beat Illinois. Well, Indiana is for real, apparently. Just ask Ohio State. Tom Poles goes over from 6 yards out here. The Hoosiers led 17-10 in the 4th. Dave Schnelk hooked up with Poles for another touchdown to seal it. Indiana will be here next week for homecoming. Michigan State stunned state rival Michigan in East Lansing. Lorenzo White scores here to make it 14-3. Spartans at the half. White finished up with 184 yards. Michigan quarterback Demetrius Brown threw 7 interceptions, the final one by Todd Crum. The first time in 10 years that both Ohio State and Michigan have lost on the same day. Some top 10 scores. Look at how they're running up the scores these days. What happened to good sportsmanship? Oklahoma trounced Texas. Nebraska embarrassed Kansas. Oh, my heavens, look at this. Miami did it to Maryland. Pittsburgh beat Notre Dame. Lou Holtz is crying tonight. Auburn beat Vanderbilt by a bunch. Florida State swamped Southern Mississippi. LSU over Georgia by just 3. Clemson beat Virginia. Well, some new faces, a new coach, but the same old result tonight, a loss to Philadelphia. The North Stars opened their home season against the Flyers and lost it 5-4. Not that the Stars played all that badly for new coach Herb Brooks. Rookie Dave Archibald scored 2 goals in the second period. The score was tied at 3 after 2 against the powerful Philly Flyers. Philadelphia pulled away in the 3rd period with a pair of goals. Brian Propp drew the defense away from Ilka Sansalo. That set up an easy goal for Sansalo. His second of the night, 5-4 was the final. And they're playing college hockey in Colorado Springs. And in that game, The Gophers are playing Colorado College. Here's Colorado College. Brown getting a goal. It's 1-1 now in the second period. And it's just what we needed to kind of keep us busy. You know, a little hockey thrown in with everything else.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's hope the Twins do it tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right, very good, Tony. This next story will take you to the far reaches of Scotland.
There's a search going on for an elusive creature tradition called Nessie.
There is a difference in imports, and Mitsubishi makes it. All-new V6 Galant Sigma is loaded with standard features, plus a new optional ABS anti-lock braking system. Maxima doesn't have it. Galant offers optional automatic electronically controlled suspension. Cressida doesn't. There's more. Galant Sigma is priced thousands less than Cressida or Acura Legend. Now there's a big difference. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice. See your Mitsubishi Motors dealer today.
It's a show that breaks all the rules.
You get the feeling that something's wrong?
Setting new records.
Something like that.
And featuring Benny the doctor, the biker, the cowboy, the gypsy, the teacher, the clown, and even Benny the ballerina. Benny Hill.
Good evening, viewers.
The guy women love.
All of me.
The show men crave.
Get on with it.
Saturdays on Channel 4.
Think about it.
Morning. You know, the iWorks says glasses fast, glasses bright. They mean it. Just this morning, I didn't have these glasses. Came to the iWorks, got a thorough exam, then picked out my frames. Great selection. Then watched them make my glasses right in their own lab. Most folks would be happy to get a new pair of glasses in a few days. But at the iWorks, they can make them in an hour. And at a great price.
The iWorks. Glasses fast, glasses right. Call for an exam or bring in your prescription.
The search for the Loch Ness Monster is on again, but some suspect Nessie may be more of a tourism gimmick than primeval creature.
Nessie hunters unleashed the biggest expedition ever to invade the murky loch, and they may have found something. We don't know what, but something. The 24 boats made sonar contact with a moving object 620 feet below the surface. The sounding near an ancient castle was bigger than anything else ever found at that location. The search has drawn hundreds of tourists to the remote area of Scotland where a controversy is raging about development plans for the loch. It seems a local development group wants to raise salmon in the loch, but people who sell souvenirs have no time for a fish farm.
Oh, yes. Dainty little Nessie earrings, great, and chains with Nessies. Big business is Nessie.
She's a very friendly character as far as we're concerned, and I don't think she'll be too pleased about the fish farms.
This current expedition, costing $1.6 million, is set to continue tomorrow.
Think anybody's ever going to resurrect that story of about 20 years ago about the monster in Cedar Lake?
Who knows? They might if they find Nessie, perhaps.
Who knows? Let's look at the forecast for tomorrow. Sunny and a high of 47. Chilly.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Good night.
To put this on the shelf of the family room, and we realized that we have to drill a hole.
Highland's 30-day, no questions asked return policy means just that. No questions asked. If something you buy from Highland gives you the same problem more than twice within 90 days of purchase, we won't even try to fix it for you. We'll give you a new one.
Hi, I'm Rog Erickson. From start to finish, listen for exciting coverage of the Twin Cities Marathon, starting at 6 a.m. Sunday morning on WCCO Radio.
Here my hair looks.
Patented VO5. Great for your hair.
Really, Norton, you think you've never had ice cream before?
There's only one camera system you can buy that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
City News, Mr. Keebler. Can you tell us what your new sandwich cookies look like? No comment. Well, we hear they've got creamy fillings. No comment.
Keebler introduces new EL Fudge sandwich cookies, buttery cookies with creamy fudge, chocolatey cookies with peanut butter middles, and chocolatey cookies with vanilla cream.
We hear they're all delicious.
They are? Oh, were you talking to the cookie?
The cookie? No comment.
New EL Fudge sandwich cookies from Keebler.